everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I'm gonna do a really quick weekend card for you, and it's with stuff that's all current right now. So if you like it and you don't have the stuff, you're able to place an order. It's not any sneak peek or anything like that. It is, I'm gonna use the Abigail Rose, well, some of it, not a lot of it, just the stamps and the dies out of the current annual catalog. So if you need a copy of this catalog, or if you don't have anybody mailing you the new July to December catalog, then let me know. I'd be happy to send you a copy. I have more of them coming. I'm totally out of all of the ones I've ordered, more than I'd ever have before, and I'm totally wiped out with those, but they'll be here, I think, on Tuesday, so soon. So if you need any, just let me know. But this is a really pretty sweet. It was I was kind of inspired by this look on this card here, and I'm really eager to play with these dies, but you need to use the paper, and I just wasn't feeling a designer series paper card right now. I just finished up my card club videos, and I'm working on my Try It class for that July to December catalog, and those are all so heavy on the designer series paper, and I just wanted to stamp. So I'm going to use the stamp set and the dies. So this little bundle here, it's the Cottage Rose bundle from the Abigail Rose Suite. It's a really pretty vintage looking stamp set. It has great words, but they didn't fit on the front of my card, so you could stamp any of them that you choose on the inside. And like I said, I was kind of inspired by this card here, and I noticed it a long time ago. In fact, I hadn't gone back and looked at it, so mine's really nothing like it, except the fact that I use the watercolor pencils, because it's a real fun way to get white on your colored cardstock. But I am using soft suede, and then some other fun cardstocks. I had a lot of this laying on my desk because we used this in card club, in my June card club. So let's do our stamping first. So our card's going to be soft suede within a false front of soft suede, and then we're going to have some die cut accents out of this distressed gold and the rose gold, which are both new to the annual catalog. And then I'm going to stamp on here, and I'm going to stamp in early espresso, so it'll be a little bit softer of a look than if you use a basic black, but you have to be a little bit careful because it would smear if you do too much watercolor. So we're going to do a tiny bit, but not enough to really smear it, and then I'm going to kind of give you a tip when you do it. So we'll do that. Isn't it pretty? It's just a really, really, really pretty image, the way it stamps. So we got the main image there, and then we'll do 2 of these leaves. And then one of my tips for not having it bleed is to use the watercolor pencils, because this will lay a little layer of wax down. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do each of them, and then I'm going to do it and fast forward that bit so you don't have to watch me do it. This is the Old Olive. So I'm going to color all of my leaves with a good coat of Old Olive, because the pencils are sheer, so you'll still be able to see the ink through. So I'll just fill all of those in like that. And once that wax, they're not really waxy, but you know, that lead, I guess, is over the top of the ink, then when I add my watercolor element to it, it will stop it from smearing, unless you would use a whole lot. Then I'm going to take the, I'm not sure what color this is. It's one of the brighter ones. We have 2 sets of watercolor pencils, and I'm just going to add a little bit of brighter to that. So all of my leaves are going to be done exactly the same on all these 2, and then this here. And then for my stem, which won't get see any watercolor, so I want to kind of make sure it gets colored nicely. So all these stems I'm just going to do in early espresso, just like that. And then this little spray of flowers here, I have crushed curry. Everything I'm going to use, I will have a link down below the video, or if you can go to my blog, and it will be there. So here, again, I'm going to lay down a nice solid coat of pencil. And I'm just doing a circle right over the top of those. I'll go ahead and finish those, because then I'll forget, and I'll come back to show you the next step, and they won't be finished. And then I have This may be Flamingo, or I don't know. It's one of the ones that doesn't have a name on it. I'm just going to do the center of this, but you could use any of the pinks. Just color those in. Sometimes we have kits and things and they come with a watercolor pencil here and there, and then they don't have the names printed on them. And then this is the secret to getting the card to be really pretty, is I have my white with the Whisper White, and you can see my pencils last forever, but I love my white pencils. And you can see just by how short it is. You just sharpen them like regular pencils. I've had mine for years and years and years. And until, you know, we stopped meeting in person, lots of people used mine as well. So even though I love it and I use it all the time, it still has a lot. So I'm going to color in each individual petal, and then I'll finish coloring all these and I'll fast forward that. All right, so those are all colored in. Now I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and I have a whole video. If you've not used one of these before, I'll have it pop up above this, and then you can back up if you haven't used it. So you just need to make sure that your ink's coming out. And I always start with the white if I'm using it, and then you're just going to kind of move it around. But again, you don't want it, because we used the espresso, you don't want to get down there to that layer of ink and have it start smearing. You could do it with a blender pen, same concept. You don't want to go down to that ink. If you want to do a whole lot of blending with it, then use black or one of our watercolor inks, or emboss it with embossing powder. That was really the first technique that I did for probably the first 3 years that I stamped. Was I always heat embossed and then colored it with watercolor pencils, with water and a paintbrush, because we didn't have Wink of Stella then. So if you go from white, then you can add a little bit here to the, you can see when it has the pink on it, then you can kind of pull up a little bit if you want to add some color to the inside of those flowers. And then I don't care if a little bit of pink gets put into my yellow, and we just add a little bit of orange tone to the crushed curry. And the same now that I'm going from yellow to the green. Just kind of add a little bit of shimmer to those. And also on these where we used 2 colors, it just kind of blends them. It's super fast. And right now, because I'm using the soft suede, the paper gets darker when it's a little bit damp, and then when it dries, it won't have this, see where I'm smearing it? It won't have that look to it. It goes away. And I'm not going to do the stems. I'm going to leave those so they're not dark. I mean sparkly. So we've got that. Now I'm going to cut out my other stuff, and then we'll cut this out last, because if you put this in your embossing machine right now and you put the plate on it, then all that wet stuff is just going to stick to it. So we'll set that aside, let that dry for just a second. So let's go. I'm going to do this card different than I did my first, just because I didn't know which background I wanted to go with. And since I'm making 2, we're going to try something else. Now this is our brick back embossing folder. Wherever it says Stampin' Up, that is the top side. So on this one, I'm going to take my Whisper White pad, and I'm going to smash some ink on it. And I didn't just recently re-ink it, so I was hoping that it would have enough, but it does. So white pads come uninked, and then it comes with a refill, because it's a craft ink and it can dry a little bit faster. So you just re-ink it more often. And then I'm just going to lay this in here. And then I'm going to run this through the embossing machine, cut and emboss, and it takes the gray plate. On the first one, I did vanilla paper with the espresso ink, but this one just kind of gives a different look. And I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go. Now I'm going to take, and again, I'm just going to do this off camera. I'm going to take these. Okay, so for this, we will do this goes on here, and I'll run this one with these. That way I can do the other one with the flower. So I'm going to run these through. Do these two through. So we're going to build it on this, and then we'll just mount this on here as a false front. It's easier to work with, and when you're going to emboss something, to not try to emboss this piece, it gives your card a little bit more stability. So you can take this piece here, and I do like it on this background. So you know you want to put, if you kind of eyeball where this is going to go, then you can start building the back. So we're going to start with these two back here. So I'm going to lay those there. Now it is a little bit trickier to get stuff to stick when you've just layered craft ink on it and it's not quite dry. So you'll put a little bit more adhesive than you might otherwise. And now I'm going to take, these are the two ribbons from the suite that I used the other day. If you saw my video where I made the baby card, these are from the Forest Friends suite. So I just need a little bit of each. They both, the colors worked perfectly with this card. Add a little bit of adhesive to the end. Kind of flip it over. And then if you have enough, if you've stuck enough here, get that down in there. And then you have to keep, this thing kind of sticks up kind of high. And I like to keep making sure that it's not bumping into anything. So we can keep, that works. So now go with your next two largest pieces, which these are the tallest. So let's go, let's stick this one over here, which I don't think it's the same. I think I went the opposite way on my other one. And you want it pretty high so it doesn't get buried underneath. Now you can kind of lay this on here to see where these are going to hit. Is there any adhesive over here? You don't want it to cover up. I'm going to stick that one back there, which is not where it is on my other one. I could even do it right. Actually, I'm going to do it right there. One's going to get lost. I'm just going to gently pull it up. Move it all the way to the edge of the card and we'll see. Yep, that one works. Now press it down. And then I'm just going to take this and kind of gently give it a little bit of a bend. It'll kind of lift it up and it makes it a little bit shorter as well. So everything fits a tiny bit better. Add some. So when you do this, you want to kind of add these to the places that are bent. Stick that in there, and then we just have to add our embellishments. So on this, I'm going to use the green. It's not the same green, but it's a shade of green and it's all the flowers, so that works. And then I'm going to add, on my other one I used this pink, but on this one I think I might use this one. So let's do 5. Let's do 3 of the green. So start with the big one. Put one here and then 2 of the smaller ones. And then we'll go for a small pink. And then a larger pink. These are great embellishments. This kind of really brightens up this card. It gives a whole different feel than my other one. I'm gonna go for right there. And then we'll just add it to this. Now, if you're interested in taking my Try It class, it is getting really close to full. I will check it for sure on Monday or Tuesday. Registration doesn't end the end of June anyways. My Try It classes are online. They very rarely make it to the final registration day before they're full. Oh, I like it on the brown. A totally different look. Same card, different background. So the only thing that switched are the different pinks, and then the different, this, like I said, is the vanilla cardstock with the espresso rubbed on the back. And this is the suede with the white. But super fun, nice and relaxing. This one I did, once it was dry, I took a little bit of white, which you can do on here. If you feel like you've lost all of your dark white, this one I pressed a little bit harder. But you can go on here and just add a little bit of white back to the edges of your petals. I feel like that kept its white a little bit better, but that's why there's a little bit darker on those edges. I just added it back. So I'll try to get an up-close picture of the glitter from the Stella and maybe put it on my Instagram, because there you can kind of move it a little bit. Because I know it's hard for you to see there. But everything that you need to create it, like I said, will be underneath the video or over on my blog. And I do a free gift with purchase every month. So you can check that out and see if you qualify. You just need to stick the host code in when you place that order. If you have any questions, let me know, and have a great weekend. Bye.